Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the campaign log. Last time we left off, the players had rolled a deadly ram encounter. They had 6 of these army ant swarms. They're pretty nasty. The monk got hit by 2 of them in the first round. It took him below half health, but they were able to basically just kite the swarms with the monk running around because it has more than twice as much speed as the ants. And the Wyverian, who can fly, has a breath weapon with recharge. So he didn't have to worry about the ants because he can fly, and he could do AoE attacks effectively infinitely. So they pretty much they cheesed the encounter a bit. If they had not done that, they probably, even with the necklace fireballs and the scroll flame strike, they probably would have died. But they were able to get all 5 of their captives back to town, where they basically went back to Stridehaven, took a train all the way back to the church district, went to the church. They learned that the main church of Idite has wards up that prevent evil priests and undead from getting in, and because the alchemist has a zombie transformative, he is about 20% zombie. About 20% of him was not able to get past the wards, so he and the prisoners basically had to put on a necklace that it prevented them from attacking, or it had like a sanctuary effect on it, and that would let them pass the wards, but they wouldn't really be able to do much with it. They took the prisoners to one room. They went to like a meeting room to discuss. I did not have a map for this. I was thinking about having one, but none of the ones I found had a boardroom. And none of them were high enough quality in the first place. So if I want a map for this place, I'm gonna have to make one myself with the thing I use for some of my other maps, which I don't think I've actually used any of my own maps yet, other than the city and the world. But they went there, they got their rewards. I'll go and pull up the loot channel. It looks like in total they each got 55, or no, that's the total amount. Right, they decided not to sell in Freyhallow, which was a good decision because the markets here are controlled by a handful of powerful people. So most of the markets that can actually like afford to buy the magic items in the city are not owned by the people running them. They are ran by employees, so they cannot barter. But they decided to take a train down here to the capital of the barony of Rosegrove, and there's more of a free market here. People own their own market, their own shops and stuff, and they found a merchant that they diplomacied, and they're able to sell their items for 70% item value, and that merchant has the right of first refusal. So anything they want to sell, they have to first ask him if he wants to buy it. If he says no, then they can go sell elsewhere, and if they're keeping it, they don't have to bother him with it. So in total, it looks like each person got just over 2,500, or no, 25,000 gold each between the 4 of them. I don't think they've really spent it on anything other than the alchemist went gambling and won, and suddenly he had 100,000 gold pieces. So I had to ban gambling because I didn't want it to become a regular thing in the campaign. And I think of it, they did buy quite a bit. They bought transformatives. So let's see, if I scroll up a bit, we should be able to see them. No, much higher than this. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, they did find the noble who ran the museum down in the barony of Rosegrove to sell all the ancient stuff they found. They got quite a good deal on that. And then they started rolling on transformatives, which actually probably should have wrote down what kinds of transformatives they got. Actually, they probably did on their sheets, so I should be able to just pop these open. Yeah, so the monk got a Quickling transformative, so it's a Fey. It was tier 1. It was 10,000 gold. Didn't have any other weird modifiers on it. And he got a +3 dexterity, a +2 to the reflex saves, a bodily change. He ended up with elf ears, so pointy ears pretty much. Of course, because he's all muscly, no one's going to be able to mistake him for an elf. He got the spring attack feat because I believe Quicklings had 5 feats, including mobility and power attack, which were both removed with elf around the room. And the monk already had dodge and whatever the Quickling's other feat was. So the only thing left for him to get was the spring attack feat. And the Elven Familiarity racial trait, which is what he rolled on the Fey chart. Now, the thing is, he asked if he could use hero points to reroll his transform rolls. I said, yeah, sure, go ahead. Because, reducing the number of hero points they have is always fun. And I think he started with DR2 Cold Iron. And then he re-rolled and got the Weapon Familiarity trait, which he's not really going to use because he's monk. So, of course, they get 5 tiers of transformatives per character before the character pops due to having too many transformatives. So, he's got 4 or more slots worth of chances, depending on, what tiers he gets to have fun with that. Oh, and it looks like he actually added Weapon Familiarity to his sheet. So, yeah, just proficiency with longbows, long swords, rapiers, and short bows, and treat any weapon with elven. Its name is Marshall. Let's see, the gunslinger already had, it looks like he did not get another transformative yet. He's just got the Black Dragon still. Joseph over here, because he had all the money from the gambling, he got quite the special transformative. I believe it was a willing higher level creature, tier 1 still, because he only had 1 slot left because he already had 2 tier 2 transformatives. And it was from a Gestalt creature, which, if you know what Gestalt is, it's a method of character creation where you get 2 class levels per level. So like at level 1 you'd be like a fighter 1, wizard 1, or something like that. And yeah, it's fairly powerful. What it does for transformatives in my rulings is you roll an additional time on the D1000 table, on the main table. Willing treats as 1 tier higher without taking up more slots, and because it was like an 18 hit die creature, I want to say he also got +5 on knowledge checks regarding the creature. But let's see, transformative, yeah, tier 1 Vilsteth, which I would think was a demon, I want to say. And he got, because he rolled twice on D1000 and because it was tier 2, the ability scores are a bit higher. So he got +6 intelligence, +4 charisma, which intelligence is what he was looking for. That's why he picked that demon. +2 to knowledge engineering, and he got powerful charge as an EX ability because it's an EX ability. The thing only had like 2 EX abilities. It was either that or I think like what was it? I'm just gonna look up the monster. Here we go. So EX abilities, it had powerful charge, rend, and that's it. Everything else it has a supernatural spell like or just attacking. So yeah, he got powerful charge, which was so he deals double damage on charge, which is good because he only has one natural attack, so rend wouldn't have been very good for him. He got the alertness feat because it was either alertness, I think combat casting, which would not have been useful for him, deceitful, vital strike, improved initiative, or persuasive, because those are the only ones that he qualified for, because he couldn't get greater improved vital strike because he didn't have the base one, and he couldn't get quicken spell-like ability because he did not have a spell-like ability, and he ended up with alertness. He also got a special sense, which the only special sense the Vilsteth has is a constancy invisibility, but it's not a spell-like ability for Joseph, it's just an innate ability. I suppose it would be supernatural for Joseph. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw that in here. It's an SU ability. Only 20 feet though, because it's only a willing tier 1 transformative, and it's 10 feet per tier, and he gained immunity to polymorph effects, which I believe he got from the either evil or chaotic alignment table. Yeah, 9 on the chaos table is immunity polymorph, and of course +5 knowledge on demons because it was a higher hit die creature. The Dragonborn War Priest, Vac, he I believe also got a transformative, Underworld Dragon, and apparently he did not write down what that does. So let's scroll a bit. Here we go. Let's go and fill this in for him. He also got a higher level creature, and I don't think it was willing because it's only a +3 bonus to 1 ability score. So yeah, he already put the strength in there. He did not adjust the scent at all. We're just gonna remove that you don't need to do that in this area. Adamantine Claws, though, is a good one. He got an EX ability. The claws of an underworld dragon are made of adamantine and have the qualities of a weapon made from that material, which he does not have any unarmed, or he does not have any natural attacks yet, and he does not have improved unarmed strike, but he can still make an unarmed strike, and it would count as adamantine. Additionally, it means he can burrow through most materials, worked stone, pretty much anything at this point, as long as it's solid and can, you know, support a tunnel being made in it. And of course the +5 knowledge checks regarding, let's see, what was this, what type of dragon? Underworld is an imperial dragon. Okay, so context notes, +5 on knowledge checks regarding imperial dragons. So yeah, and the reason he went with Underworld Dragon is because that is the type of Dragonborn he is. He is an Underworld Imperial Dragonborn, mixed with something else, I don't remember. But the point is that he's kind of going in the character, like he's role-playing what Transformers to get, because the Imperial Dragonborns are very prideful and egomaniac type of thing. So he's going, he's diving more. He's probably only just going to take a bunch of Underworld Dragon transformatives throughout the campaign and become more like his ancestors that way. So after they got the rewards, the church basically told them, okay, we're gonna, you know, gather information, look at this letter that you've showed us, and question the captives for like a week, give or take. Come back to us then, and we'll probably have another job for you because you guys did well. You brought back more captives than necessary. You didn't unnecessarily, slaughter them. You're definitely some of the least evil mercenaries we've hired, that whole thing. So they want to keep working with the players. They did learn some things from the letter that the church just had on hand. What they learned is that Octo here has been causing problems for the church for like 50 years, but he's never doing it directly. He's like ordering other people around to do it. So they've never like had a, lead on him to hunt him down. And now they learn, oh great, he's involved in the cult that's causing problems and rising in power. And also the players did learn why he's called Octo. Is it because he's the 8th boss, or is it because he's an octopus? I asked them to place their final bets. It's because he's an octopus. So the players found out that he has tentacles. He's part octopus. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up his picture here if I can find it on my hard drive. I already photoshopped it together. Yeah, here we go. Octo. Yep, just 4 Kraken tentacles sticking out of sides. He took a Kraken transformative, a quite potent one. I want to say it was a tier 5 willing, so effectively tier 6. So it gave him some pretty nice stuff alongside the tentacle attacks. Additionally, they learned that he has a ritual of true name, which basically means that if you know his true name or say his true name, he's gonna have trouble fighting you. You're gonna be able to bypass his defenses easier. His spells aren't gonna work on any of that kind of stuff. And I'm not gonna tell you what his true name is, but that's why he has a nickname as Octo. Basically, I came up with the name and it was just like, oh man, with that kind of name, he's got to have a Kraken transform. I think I thought it would be cool if one of the bosses had a Kraken transformative, and then from there I thought, oh, they could end up with 4 tentacles in addition to their normal hands and arms and be an octopus. So because the players can sleep on the train, they were able to basically ignore travel time, because after doing some research on the speed of steam trains and the approximate distance from point A to B, it would take about 2 hours per jump in city, give or take, depending on exact distances. The map is only accurate so much, so basically it's gonna be 2 hours for each of these gaps here. And then once you start getting over here into the longer gaps, we gotta adjust the times there. But they're only going this far anyways. They're only going to the High Steel City down here. So it's basically an 8-hour travel, which is entire days of traveling. But it's a train. They can just pass out in their seats as they make their way there. So they were basically able to make the trip down there, spend 8 hours, setting up the merchant stuff, selling the stuff, and then 8 hours back in the first day of their downtime. And the second day, they decided to do some more money-making stuff. So they ended up, basically the queen is trying to reconquer the hills just south of the city, which would be the area they want to take back over is covered up by the Freyhallow sign here on the left of the river. And then some of the hills that don't need to be taken back over because they were never built into are just in the fields of crops. But this was mostly an excuse for me to use this 3-dimensional dungeon, which check out these lighting walls and how ridiculous they are. So the blue ones are invisible walls, which means you can't move through them, but you can see through them. And the yellows are normal walls. These pink ones here at the edge of the stairs are ethereal walls, so you can't see through them, but you can walk through them. The red is the red is locked doors. I believe that's an open door, or no, is the green open and that closed? Yeah. And I think those are like the only types of walls here. But so far they've cleared the top floor. This outline of a square that you can barely see here is based on my marker of where the gelatinous cube was, because gelatinous cubes, they only got 64 met hit points. They don't do much damage. If I didn't use one now, I'd never get to use one this campaign because the players start at level 6. They're currently level 7. But the monk just walked right into one, and I don't think he took much damage, but I think he needed to use like a hero point to, or no, he doesn't use hero points. He's got the luck feats. He had to use one of his luck feat uses per day on not being paralyzed for, I rolled 3 1s on the 3d6 because it rolls automatically on here when I use the ability. But yeah, fun times. They then went into this room, which if I pull up my notes on the place, this room had 4 sets of loot that rolled on a d8 table. I should be able to scroll up and a little bit and start seeing d8s around. Yeah, here, somewhere around here. A little bit higher. Yeah, here we go. So Zarelius the monk found 10 feet of chain. The alchemist got 20 gold pieces. You know, nothing too special yet. Vac got 3, which is 50 feet of rope. And then Victor, the gunslinger, he rolled 7, which I made a special enemy for this. Golden Shoe Jelly. From The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which if you go to the notes, once you kill it in the first round, if you have glass or empty container, because most metals would just react with the acidity that oozes have, which would ruin the effects of the Golden Shoe. But when you drank it as potion, it would heal 50 hit points and double damage and still be getting in the next turn, similar to how it works in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. And they didn't have much issue. You only had 29 hit points. They hit it with a spear, and then the double barrel musket splattered across the wall. And I think, yeah, he failed the survival check and didn't feel like using a hero point to reroll his survival check to harvest it. So they missed out on what would have been a pretty nice potion. They then went into this room, which is where the fun starts. So Joseph is the only one who does not have dark vision yet. So he's carrying around like a torch or something. I don't really know. I just put 20 feet of light on him. 20 feet bright, 20 feet dark. 2 people, I believe the monk and the war priest, went in the room first, and then as Joseph entered, I was like, hey, now that there's light in here, you guys can see that the ceiling is wriggling. Like, it's black, but it's wriggling, and it was a black pudding, and it didn't do too much. It did do some damage, but I have another black pudding that's gonna be in this room, and I gotta figure out a way for it to be more of a challenge, because you know it doesn't have loot to defend, or like, I guess it's not a good reason. I need it to be more of a challenge, because right now I just increased their to hit bonus, that way they can actually hit the monk on like a 19, which apparently his AC's gone up from the transformative, I guess. What did he get? It was dexterity. Yeah, so his initiative, or his AC, went up by 1. So now his AC is 35 before shield, so it's gone up a little. And I think it might have, the level up might have gave him extra AC since he's multi-classed. I don't know. The point is, it barely hit him on 18. But yeah, so I think I'm going to use a different type of ooze, or maybe some other enemy in this room. I'll figure it out later. I've got other stuff to do today. But the loot in this room, there was a greater serpent belt. I think somebody equipped that. There was a scroll, CL8 of mighty strength, divination, and oracle's vessel of the death curse. The other chest had a enchanted ring jewelry box that holds up to 3 rings on fancy display, and the box space is enchanted to be, it's like got hardness on it, pretty much is the main thing. But it had a ring of chameleon power, a ring of protection +2, and an improved ring of jumping in it. And they also found a prophecy on this plaque. I did do the bit where, since the plaque is facing away from the quote-unquote camera, away from the perspective, I said, sadly, it's facing away from us, we can't read it at this angle. I did do that bit. I had to. But afterwards, somewhere in here, I did paste it in here. Yeah, here we go. Within this tomb lies the seer of all, Althea Freyhallow, court mage of House Gorin, co-founder of the Circle of Eight, and high priestess of Idite. 4852 to 4936. Here is engraved her final prophecy. Let's see, 52 to 36. That is 84 years, and she was human, so she lived quite a full life. Although she was killed by she was killed at the end of an era that started the Era of Dark Rule, but that's not important right now. What is important is that she was not only an oracle in terms of class levels, she also saw the future. So she was like Oracle of Delphi type of oracle as well. So I didn't do very well with this prophecy. It doesn't rhyme. I like to have my prophecies rhyme, but I was having trouble last week trying to get it to rhyme. So eventually I settled on the first of 4 will come to end the era of machines. The land will flood with plagues, none will be safe, carried by a nightmare across the stars, destined to free the failed usurper. And I believe they still did not ask, who do these cultists worship? Soon enough, I assume they'll ask, like, how far are they going to get into a main quest about cultists, and not ask who they worship. But they worship, I believe I already told you guys, they worship Pestilence, as in the first horseman of the apocalypse. In my world, a demon lord as well. And basically this prophecy is about the campaign. If they successfully summon the first horseman, who a nightmare is basically the evil version of a unicorn. I believe it's an outsider as well. And of course, across the stars refers to the astral sea. And the era of I think it's called the era of industrialization, but it needs a better name than that. The current era will end, and a new era where disease runs rampant and immunity disease is no longer a thing will show up. And then that last line, you don't get to know about that, because the players won't be able to figure it out either. I don't think it's not relevant to the current campaign. This would be a future topic, but it belonged in there. So yeah, they've cleared the first floor. They used a baton to close that door up. They actually asked, hey, does this door open towards us or towards the stairs? And I was like, well, what's the how's it normally done? Because I didn't know. It's done the way you'd most often see. I just didn't know what that would be, because I don't really pay attention to architecture that much. And they were like, it would open towards us. And I was like, okay, yeah. And they were like, okay, we'll close it and put a couple of batons in there to stop it from being opened. Which it wouldn't have been opened anyways, but they've decided pretty much to go down this staircase at the start of next session, where they'll get to deal with some new fun stuff down here. and loot the place and deal with the first instance of it's not much of an instance, but there is a little bit of uncanny valley in these guys. At least I tried. I mean, I just took the eyes and nose away. There's only so much I can do on my own. If I want more uncanny valley in the future, I'll just have to find some online to use as tokens. But yeah, should be a nice session next session.